Hey, everybody, hey. We're back. Week two of the Essential Discourse Nightcap. Week two. And I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who joined last week, everyone who participated in the conversation, everyone who shared, who followed since our initial uh, live stream. I want to say thank you. Thank you so very much. Uh, it is impossible to be effective in reaching as many people as I desire to reach without your support, without your um, intentional effort into sharing this podcast, this um, nightcap, the blog, the website, with people on your social media feeds by word of mouth. It is impossible to reach the masses without your help. And I really want to say thank you for your support. Hey, happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody. Everybody, happy belated Valentine's Day. If you weren't a Valentine's to a particular person, well, just let me say you are a Valentine's to the significant being that really matters. Yeah, you know who him be. You know who him be. Yeah, you know who him be. Him love you with an everlasting love. So even if you were by yourself on Valentine's, you weren't by yourself. You understand what I'm saying. So I'm hoping everyone, whether you were with someone or you were not with someone, you had a memorable time. You had a time, as the gift says. I hope that you had a time. I hope you had a good time, a good safe time. Um, yeah. So, what were the takeaways from last week? Well, the takeaways from last week were um, people wanted to hear about self wealth. I'm sorry, not self wealth, but generational wealth, wealth being how to date your spouse, and some other things of that nature. And we're going to get with that. We're going to get with that. I think those are conversations that can be best had when there is a quote unquote subject matter expert available to be on the live stream with us, and we can we can ask questions and listen to what they have to say. I'm currently working on that. So that is coming. Please continue to uh, make your suggestions known, make the topics that you're interested in known so that we can address those things and make it happen, Captain. You know what I mean? Shout out to Georgia. Georgia told me that they would be in the house. So I'm looking forward to seeing them pop on the screen and make some comments. I heard Louisiana might be on the stream, and I'm looking forward to them popping on the screen and making comments. And of course, to the great state of Tejas, Texas, the Lone Star. I want to thank you guys for coming in to the stream and being proactive and being engaged as well. And if I'm missing any states, wherever you're viewing from, uh, go ahead and type in where you're viewing from, man, and we can acknowledge you. Um, a little bit of housekeeping. We were supposed to be streaming to TikTok as well, but as I was checking the status, something went wrong. So right now we're only streaming to Facebook, and we're only streaming to YouTube. I plan on having that rectified uh, before next Saturday when we shall come together again. Um, just trying to give a few more folk a little opportunity to get in here before we get started. We're going to move as quickly as we need to move in dealing with the subject matter at hand. And um, I think this is going to be beneficial for all of us. I know it was beneficial for me as I was preparing to present this to you all tonight. Um, so many times we end up being frustrated. We end up being angry. We end up being dejected, depressed, amongst other emotions. When we are genuinely trying to help other people in their situations, we put our best foot forward, it seems. And the people that we're trying to help oftentimes seems as if they have taken a seat while we're putting our best foot forward. And that don't make no sense. And you end up putting forth all this effort and providing all these resources to help someone who will not help themselves. Yeah, and it goes off just like a bomb when you finally catch the revelation. When you finally catch the revelation, you realize that you have spent all of this time, all of these resources helping somebody who actually wanted you to do the thing that they needed help with without any accountability or responsibility in the matter. Yeah. So Matthew 7 and 6, this is part of Jesus's Sermon on the Mount. I promise you, I'm not going to preach to you. I will teach a little bit if you allow me. But Matthew 7 and 6, around that B clause of that verse, Jesus tells the listeners, the multitude, don't cast your pearls among the swine. Don't cast your pearls among the swines. And he's basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing now. Jesus is basically saying, say, cuz, don't be doing all that for them folk, man. Because man, they don't care. They do not care. Stop. Don't do that. Don't give your valuables to folk who don't care anything about what you're doing. Not only do they not care anything about what you're doing, they don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about your feelings. They don't care nothing about the motives in which you're doing it. So stop giving valuables, your valuables, the things that you have been entrusted with, the things that you have been made a steward over. Stop giving these things to folk who don't care. Folk who sit down when you're trying to help them. Folk who go backwards when you're trying to motivate them or push them or pull them forward. Hey, just stop. Stop. That's what Jesus was saying. Jesus was saying, say, cuz, say, listen to them, man. Man, let me tell you now. That don't make no sense what you're doing. That don't make no sense. They don't care. They're not interested. They only want what you can provide. They don't want to learn the lessons of how they can provide for themselves. They ain't interested in learning how to fish so they can catch fish so they can eat. They want you to go catch that fish. They want you to scale it. They want you to fillet it. They want you to season it. They want you to batter it. They want you to fry it. They want you to put it on their plate. They want you to sprinkle a little hot sauce on it and mix up that tartar sauce and that lemon juice. And they want you to cut that filet, put it on the fork, and put it in their mouths. Not only do they want you to do all that, they want you to grab their mouth and do the chewing action for them. Stop doing that. That is what Jesus is basically saying in Matthew 7 and 6, that B clause. Now, how does that relate to us? That's the question. How does that relate to us from a practical standpoint today? Well, if you've been listening, that answer has already been expounded upon. But, some of us, it takes us a little longer to catch the revelation. So what I've done is I have developed a few talking points, and for a few minutes, we're going to talk about those. And should you have any questions or should you have any statements, please go ahead and chime in on those comments. All right. And before I do that, let me also give you the opportunity to copy down that Q code right there. This is a way that you can support the podcast by buying me a coffee, and every dollar, every quarter, every nickel, dime, penny that you donate to the podcast will be put back into the podcast, invested back into the podcast to make it better, to be able to upgrade equipment and perhaps maybe even compensate people for their time for appearing on the podcast. So every little bit helps. If you want to help the podcast, support it monetarily, that's it right there. Scan that Q code, and that will give you an opportunity to buy me a coffee as a means of supporting the podcast. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty of tonight's nightcap, shall we? So the Essential Discourse Nightcap, we are live streaming, and we are talking about placing pearls before swine. Placing pearls before swine. That is what we are discussing, and let's get into this. Let's get into this real good. There you go. We're casting pearls before swine, and as I just told you, Jesus' paraphrase was just basically telling the people who had came to the mountain to hear him preach the Sermon on the Mount, stop doing all this stuff for folk who don't have any interest in learning, who don't have any interest in becoming better, who don't have any interest in actually doing things, learning to do things for themselves so they're not dependent upon other people or become a burden to other people. Stop doing all this stuff. Stop doing it. And that has a place in our society today. That has a huge huge place, practical place in our society today. So let's look. Let's define swine in context. Let's define swine in context. Swine, as you heard me mention earlier, these are folk who don't care. These are folk who will not accept accountability. These are folks who will not accept responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault that they're in the predicament that they're in. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never their actions. It's always their fault. It's these are the folk who come up and give you a sob story every 3 to 6 months, right? And the only time you hear from these people is when they want something. These are the people who expect their needs to be your emergency. Yeah, those are the swine. These are the people who you offer advice to, and it goes in one ear and out the same ear. It doesn't even have a chance to penetrate. It doesn't even have a chance to get to the brain so that it can go out the other ear. Now, that's somebody who ain't listening, who doesn't care anything about the wisdom or the advice that you're giving to them. This is swine. This is a swine mentality. Swine mentality. These are the folk who will come to you with a problem, right? And maybe as a good friend, you tell them, well, the common denominator in all your problems is you. What is your role in the situation? And they get defensive and they get mad, and now you all kind of mother these and SOBs, and you nasty big back stank hamburger onion smelling and all this other stuff. You all this other stuff for simply pointing out the truth that, hey, the common denominator with Jerry, the common denominator with Chick-fil-A, the common denominator over there at Walmart before we started protesting. The common denominator over there at Food City, at Brookshire's, at Piggly Wiggly, the common denominator with all your issues is you. And now they upset because you didn't participate in the pity party. You didn't participate in co-signing on the sob story. You told them the truth. You asked them a confrontational question, and now they're hot. These are swine mentalities. And don't get me wrong, I don't ever want to be accused of calling people out of their names. But we are giving a name to that mentality. This is swine mentality. I don't care about any of the accountability, responsibility aspects of the problems or the issues or the circumstances that I'm dealing with. All I care about is what I can get from you to rectify the situation that I'm in. I ain't gonna listen. I care less about, you giving me advice and you pointing me in the right direction. I want you to do it for me, and I want to reap the benefits of you doing it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of swine mentality. And if you got it, I'd appreciate it if you type, I got it. But we're moving on. So who qualifies themselves as swine? Well, we pretty much answered that question. No, we pretty much answered the question, but I want to go with that first. Who qualifies themselves? Yeah, that is a rhetorical question. That is a rhetorical question because you're the first person to realize that that I'm swine. I got a swine mentality. I'm down here in this slop, the slop of my circumstances by my choice, but I want somebody else to pull me out of this slop. Yeah, you qualified yourself for swine mentality. You're hard-headed. I can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm grown. I'm a mind the business that pays me. Well, yeah, where did they get you? I put my pants on just like he do. Who he think he is? You know what I mean? Swine mentality. So this is a horrible mindset to have. It's a horrible mindset to have because now you're making yourself a person that nobody wants to be around. Nobody in their right mind. Nobody who comes to themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody who comes to themselves and they realize, man, I've been doing this, and this. I've tried this, and this. I've gave you this, and this, and you are not getting any better. And when they come to themselves, they come to their right minds, they don't want to have nothing to do with you. But then again, when that time comes, it's never your fault. It's somebody else's fault. So this is what qualifies an individual as swine or having swine mentality. It's like a probate mind, man. I can't tell you nothing. You ain't gonna change. Oh, here's a prime example. We all got family members who are just nasty individuals, right? We all got family members who are just nasty individuals. They ruin the atmosphere at family gatherings. They say stuff that's off the wall, and instead of correcting them because folk don't want to make a scene, folk don't want to make stuff worse, they pacify it by saying, "Oh, that's how she is. Oh, that's how he is. Yeah, he a hot mess. His swine mentality is what he is, and you need to speak to that because I don't want to be miserable or having to avoid places just because you're there. And I shouldn't have to. And I'm not going to. I am at an age now where I'll speak to that stuff and say what I mean and mean what I say. And we ain't got to fall out about it, but you gonna know. You feel me? So those are the individuals who qualify themselves as being of a swine mentality. And it's not anything that you or I put upon these people. This is all because of their behavior. Their behavior tells off on them. Their behavior tells the story. The pattern of their behavior tells the story. All we're doing is putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4. Don't get mad because I can do simple addition or simple subtraction. 5 minus 3 is 2. Don't get mad because I can do simple math and understand what it is. Yeah. Don't try to sway other people's positions about me or perceptions about me because of your poor behavior. I didn't mean to say that, but I said it. So let me go ahead and say it with my chest. Because of your piss poor behavior, now you mad at the world and you're trying to get everybody else to join this pity party that you're having. Swine mentality. Swine mentality. I've been told the truth about myself. I know the truth about myself, but I won't do anything to change it. Swine mentality. So here's some characteristics of a person with swine mentality. They're unappreciative. They don't appreciate anything or anyone. For the long term, they don't. My light bill due. Okay, here goes. How much is it? $75. Well, here go $75. Go pay your light bill. Yeah. They're appreciative in the moment. But in the long run, when something comes up again and you have to tell them no. Oh, y'all don't never do nothing for me. Every time I come around and ask y'all for some help, y'all got 300,000 questions and you don't never want to do nothing for me. You sound like a fool. Let's just keep it real. You sound like a fool. You're unappreciative. Unappreciative. That's the first characteristic that you need to be cognizant of. The second one is they're willfully ignorant. They are willfully ignorant. They're not ignorant because they got a mental disability. They're willfully ignorant because they choose to be willfully ignorant. They choose to be ignorant. They choose not to learn. They choose not to learn from their mistakes. They choose this. And I don't care how much talking, how much training, how much teaching, how much preaching you do to a willfully ignorant person, you're never going to affect them until they decide, you know what, I'm tired of being dumb. I'm tired of making dumb choices. I'm tired of making stupid decisions. You're never going to be able to affect them until they decide, you know what, I'm too big to be this ignorant. I know that's hard, but it's fair. It's tight, but it's right. The third characteristic. Oh, they're proud. Oh, they so proud. Oh, ain't nobody ever did this for me. I did that on my own. Y'all ain't helped me. Proud. I ain't asking him for no help. I ain't never asking him again for nothing. Stiff neck, proud. Not only that aspect of it, but so proud that they are unwilling to change. Just proud. Next characteristic, argumentative. Oh, everything becomes an argument. Hey, didn't I just tell you about that grant program? Did you apply for it? No, ain't nobody got time for all that. They want to know too much. And so on and so forth. Man, just say you didn't want to do it. Just say, you know what? You did tell me, but I was too lazy to doggone do it. Instead of turning everything into an argument, you turned the truth into an argument. What kind of foolishness is this? You turn a simple inquiry into an argument. What you trying to say? What? You ain't, don't be, You know who I'm talking about. Not you. Might be your cousin or your next door neighbor. It might be some of them. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about folk that you might know. You might know. Everything is argumentative. Everything becomes argumentative. Hateful. individuals, hateful mindsets, envious, hateful, jealous. Yeah, these are all characteristics of a swine mentality. And you got to be careful not to put your valuables before these people. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. So we have unappreciative, willfully ignorant, proud. And we're not talking about, have some pride about yourself, carry yourself well. No, we're not talking about that pride, that kind of pride. We're talking about proud, can't nobody tell you nothing. You are right when you're wrong. And even when you're wrong, I'm going to act like I'm right. That kind of proud. Argumentative, hateful. And I don't need to expound on what hateful is. Hateful is just hateful. Ain't no varying degrees of hatefulness. It's just hateful. And you know it when you see it. So why do we as individuals give our valuables to swine? Why? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? I see one person on. Give me an answer to that one person that's on. Why do we give our valuables to swine-minded people? Why do we do this? I really want to hear or read your comments on this. Why do I give my valuables to a swine-minded individual? Even though I know they don't appreciate it. I know they don't appreciate it. I know this joker, as soon as they get what they can get out of me, they're going to go and scandalize my name. They're going to go and talk about me like a dog to their buddies and to their colleagues and all this other stuff. I know that just as sure as I give this person this money today, they're going to be back in 2 to 3 weeks asking me for something else. I know that. I know that for certain. Okay, Melba says, thinking they'll change. Could be relationship with the person and my loyalty to them. I absolutely agree with that. I had a situation once where I knew this joker. I knew this joker would 9 times out of 10 do the wrong thing with the resources that I gave. And I gave that joker an opportunity. I gave that joker an opportunity to prove me wrong one last time. And that joker proved me right. That joker proved me so right, y'all. He proved me so right, man. It was like that joker told me, "You gonna learn today." You gonna learn today about giving me a second chance. That's that was what that joker was telling me by his actions. And you know what I said? All right. I got it. I got the lesson. I got the revelation. I came home and I told my wife, I said, look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this mess. Come and look at this. Just look at this mess. And Regina, you're absolutely right. It's because of those relationships that, oh Lord, thank you for giving this to me. It's because of the one-sided relationships that we're in with these individuals. That is why we continue to give our valuables to them. This is not a reciprocal relationship. This is a give and take relationship with me being on the giving end and them on the taking end. And because I've always come through, they keep coming back. And then when I turn the faucet off, when I cut the strings, now I ain't back spit. Yeah, I ain't, man. I ain't no good. I stink. Oh, all kind of stuff, man. I become the bad guy. I become the bad guy after years and years and years of being the guy who gave you another opportunity to prove me wrong. But what you do is continue to prove me right. Yeah. So thank you, Melba, Regina Smith, for your comment. Let's move on a little bit further. Move on a little bit further in this, and let's answer these questions. Let's answer these questions, just like Melba alluded to. It's because of our love for the person, or our passion to help people in need, who we think are in need. Right? I'm a people guy. I'm a people guy. I am. I hate to see people hurting. Hate to see people hurting. True story. True story. I moved to Texas in 2000. Yeah, in 2000. 2001, 2000, somewhere around that way. I moved to Texas 2000, 2001. And I left my hometown, my home area of the Coshada, Natchitoches area, right? Louisiana. And when I got here, man, I would call back home, just checking on people who were still there, man. Always calling, always calling. I would go home on the weekends, man, just to hang out with these people, just to see them, just to catch up with them, to make sure that the connection is still there. But then I realized one day, man, these jokers don't ever call me. And when I ask these jokers to come see me, oh, that's too far. Or these jokers will come right to Austin and wouldn't even pick up the phone to say, hey, yo, we in Austin, man, if you want to come up and hang out. That ain't but a 30-minute drive for me. But you didn't think enough about me to even include me in your thought process. I just said something right there. You didn't think enough of me to even think of me. But on the other side, on the flip side of this, I'm making 5-hour trips. I'm burning up the phone lines. I'm doing all this stuff trying to keep that connection between you and I. And the whole time, this is a one-sided relationship. But because of my love for you, I did it until I caught that revelation. So love and your passion are reasons that we continue to give our valuables to people. Yeah. We feel like it's our duty sometimes. We feel like it's our duty to make sure that, you know what, this joke is taken care of, man. Somebody got to help this boy. Somebody got to help this girl. Oh, she ain't got nobody else. We feel like it's our duty. But the truth of the matter is, it's not our assignment. There's a difference. There's a difference. It's one thing to be assigned to a person for a season. It's another thing to make yourself dutifully responsible or obligated to a person. Ooh, I just said something. If I'm assigned, okay. But if I'm making my duty, yeah, that's a problem from the jump. That's a problem from the jump if I make it my duty. Yeah, yeah. So sometimes, due to the love that we have for the people, or due to the passion that we have for the certain situation, or trying to help people in certain situations, we feel like it's our duty to give our valuables to them, to give our wisdom to them, to give our finances to them, to give our listening ear to them, to give our time to these people. We feel like it's our duty because of our love and our passion. Hey, sometimes, man, you can see a joker headed to a certain destination, a known destination, and you're trying to prevent that joker from getting there. True story. I was a peace officer here in the city of Harker Heights. And there was this kid, man. There's this kid. I met him when he was in the 9th grade. And I could see that kid was headed to one of three places. I could see him headed to one of three places: the hospital, jail, or the grave. And it brings me no joy to tell you that I watched him go to the hospital, I watched him go to jail, and I read about him going to the grave. That is a hard, 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 hard pill to swallow when you are constantly trying to give your valuables to these persons who don't care nothing about what you're talking about, who don't care nothing about your passion to try to see them prosper and see them go in a different direction. That's a true story. I watched this young man. I engaged with this young man and his grandparents. I engaged with this young man and his grandparents, guys. I'm going to say it again. I engaged with this young man and his grandparents, finding solutions, things that might have helped him get off the path that he was on. And nobody cared to act on the information that I was giving them. Nobody cared to say, hey, we got to do something different. You know, their love and their passion was one of the things that prevented them from doing what was necessary. You know, they wanted to shelter this joker from the possible outcomes. And what you ended up doing, and I promise you, I'm not saying this to be cruel. It's just the truth. What you ended up doing is you ended up co-signing on that behavior. And it progressively got worse and worse. So we give these valuables away because we can see the destination that person's headed, and we want to try to help them avoid that at all possible. Now, I sometimes I just want to prove that I'm right. I want to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about, and you should listen to me. I don't think I need to expound on that any further. You know, me just knowing I'm right should be enough. Me being right doesn't necessarily make you have to listen to what I'm saying. Me being right doesn't change the fact that I'm right because you don't listen or that you do listen. You know what? It doesn't really matter whether you listen to it or not, as long as I know that I'm right and that the intentions of my heart are right and that they're pure. You know, whether you listen to it or not, man, that's on you. But a lot of times we got to prove it. I'm going to make you see it. I'm going to make you understand. I tell kids what's ahead of them rarely change much. I agree with you. I agree with you, brother. I agree with you. Love plus passion equals pride. You absolutely right, guy. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Thank you for your comments. So, love. We feel like it's our duty. We've not been assigned, but we feel like it's our duty. We can see where they're headed. We want them to avoid that consequence. And we want to prove that we're right. And the next step, the next area is sometimes we just want to be accepted. Sometimes we just want to be accepted. And this is real prevalent with our kids nowadays, man. I'm in the school district now. Clean ISD. I'm in the school district now, man. And I see good kids. Go against what they've been taught at home. Go against what their guardians and parents' expectations are. Just to fit in. Just to be accepted by a knucklehead who can't read. A knucklehead who can't do simple math. You want to be accepted by this knucklehead or by a group of knuckleheads other than just being who you are. And not to just be on the kids, we do it too as adults. We carry on in conversations at work that we ain't got no business carrying on in because we want to be accepted. We don't want to be the oddball. we don't want to be that person that they be like, oh, I would invite them, but you know how I go. You know, we all at various levels want to be accepted, but it shouldn't come at the cost of giving our values, casting our pearls before swine. It shouldn't come at that cost. And then sometimes we do it because we want to be admired. We want admiration. We want people to look at us and say, "Oh, we can go to him because he knows what he's talking about." He helped Bojangle. He helped Pojo. You know, he told Pojo how to do that, and Pojo found a list, and Pojo got it right. And let's go see him or her. We want that admiration sometimes. We're vain enough. Well, let me not say me. I'm absolutely vain enough. I have enough vanity in me where if somebody or some people were to come to me and say, "Hey man, you really helped me with that information that you gave me. I appreciate it." I'm vain enough. I'm vain enough to want more of that admiration. It can become a drug. You know, it could become hey wrong. That you it could become a drug if we're not careful. But no amount of admiration should we sacrifice our pearls before swine. Now, what's the solution? What's the solution, guys? What's the solution? We got about 15 minutes to go. What's the solution? What is the solution? Well, this is what I surmise. Get out of them folks' face. Get out of them folks' face.
Bruh.
If they don't want to listen to wisdom and truth, get out them folks' face. Stop talking to them. Stop talking to them. Stop trying to get blood out of a turnip. Stop trying. Stop trying to do that. Because you know what? All you're going to end up doing is frustrating yourself. That's what you're going to do. You're going to end up frustrating yourself. And you know what? Surprise, surprise. When them folks do the exact same thing that had you frustrated the last time. You know, I read a Facebook thing. I read a Facebook post. My homegirl, Tamika posted it. She said, Tamika from Nagadich. She said, instead of crying about how them people treat you, get out of them people's face. Yeah. Instead of complaining about you don't never listen. If you had done this, I tried to tell you. Stop talking and get out of them people's face. That's part of the solution. The second part of the solution is know your worth. Yeah, man, know your worth. Know that what you're saying is true, is accurate, and it has worked. It will work if they're willing to hear it. And I'm not willing to say it 18,000 times before you give it a try. So I'm going to get out your face. I'm going to get out your face after giving you the information that can help you become better, because I know my worth. I know the worth of what's coming out of my mouth. I've tried it. I put it to the test. It's worked. And if you don't want that, oh well. I know my worth. I know the worth of what I'm doing. And I'm not going to give these pearls to you no more. I'm finna get out your face. And you can go on over there and deal how you deal. We got to live out of what we know, guys. And what I mean by that, sometimes we got to live it. We got to live it in front of these folk before they can be able to receive it. You know, I can sit here and tell somebody all day, all night, right, that God is good. His mercy is everlasting, his truth endures to all generations. I could tell you that all day and all night, man. But as soon as a problem come up in my life, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Ooh, and all this crying and carrying on and pity party and all this stuff. That is a contradiction of what I say. My behavior can't contradict what I'm saying. So I got to live out of what I know, right? I can't I can't tell you not to steal, and then a riot break out, and I'm out here taking Air Jordan tennis shoes out of Foot Locker with you. I can't tell you not to steal. That's hypocritical, is it not? And nobody wants to, man, nobody respects a hypocrite. Hypocrites don't even respect hypocrites. So I got to live out of what I know. I got to live out of what I know. Because contrary to popular opinion, man, the closest some people are ever going to get to church and ever going to get to Christ is the Christ that they see in you and the church that you represent. And I'm not talking about a building. I'm talking about the concept of church, who the church is, what the church is supposed to do. You are the only person, you are the closest thing that a lot of people are ever going to get to that. So we got to live out of what we know. We got to live out of what we know. And on a practical sense, since some of y'all really don't like to talk about church and God, so let me put it in a practical sense. I can't tell you not to eat Twinkies and cookies and cupcakes and bear claws and all this other stuff, right? When I'm stuffing my face with them. I can't tell you need to go to the gym and do this and do that when I won't go to the gym and do it. If I'm going to be about a healthy lifestyle, I got to live out of what I know about being healthy. And I got to live it in front of you, and I got to live it outside, out of your view as well. I got to do that. I got to live out of what I know. I got to live out of what I profess. I cannot be hypocritical about this thing at all. I got to set boundaries as well, guys. This is part of the solution. We got to set boundaries. You know, when we say this is the last time, that needs to be the last time. When we say don't do that no more. Don't come over here with that foolishness no more. We got to mean don't come over here with that foolishness no more. When you say, hey, cuz, man, shoot, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. Now y'all know what that means. Y'all know what that means out there in streaming land. When we say, man, I don't know what to tell you, man, that's basically, you know what? I told you, you ain't want to listen. So, don't even come over here with that, because I ain't interested in hearing it. I done gave you the answer. I done gave you a solution. You need to execute it. So we need to set boundaries. We cannot continue to allow people to come in and just make us their trash can. No, we got to set boundaries. I don't want to hear it. This is the last time. I told you the last time was the last time. I don't even know why you in my face. That goes back to that first one. Get out of them people's face. So not only do we have to set boundaries, guys, we got to enforce those boundaries that we set. We got to. We got to be stern. We don't have to be mean. You don't have to be nasty, but you do need to be stern. You need to be stern. We need to be stern with the boundaries that we've set with the swine mentality people that we're having to deal with. You got to be. We have to be. And we got to understand that we can't help everyone. Everybody can't get help. Everybody, we're not going to be able to help everybody because we're not assigned to everybody. We're not going to be able to help everybody because everybody ain't going to listen. It's Black History Month, so let me tell you what. Let me tell you what our girl said. She said, I could have freed hundreds more if they didn't have a slave mentality. That's what Sister Harriet said. I paraphrased that a little bit, but that's what Sister Harriet said. I could have helped free hundreds more if they didn't have a slave mentality. You can't help everybody. I can't help everybody. I am not assigned to everybody. You are not assigned to everybody. Protect your peace, people, at all costs, by any means necessary. protect your peace. That's why you have to get out of them people's face. That's why you have to understand you can't help everybody. That's why you have to set boundaries and enforce boundaries, because you got to protect your peace. I'll be doggone if I'm going to be up at night worrying about your situation. And I done gave you the tools to rectify your situation, to make your situation better, and you won't do nothing. I'll be Jim Brown if I'm going to be up at night worried about what you got going on because you don't want to listen and you ain't got the fortitude to apply yourself to doing what's been put before you to do, to execute. We got to protect our peace, guys. And I don't care if it's your family members. I don't care if it's your next door neighbors, your church members, your co-workers, your kids even. You got to protect your peace. Because you got to understand, you're limited in what you can do. Especially if you're not assigned. You are limited in what you can do. But you can protect your peace at all times. And if you're going to help somebody, make sure that you're led to help. Make sure that you are led to help. Not because, oh, that's so sad, my heart goes out to him. No, not because of that. Because you are led to help. Right here in Killeen, man, there's a homeless guy, man. He be on the corner of W.S. Young and Business 190, right before you get to the mall. He be out there holding a Bible. And I saw somebody bring him a meal. And that dude turned around and cussed them people out. I ain't want no god diggity dang dong sandwich. I need some money. Get your mammy monkey mookie mock. And I'm sitting here watching this. And I'm like, when did homeless people become choosy? Lesson learned. Be led to help. Be led to help. Be led to help. Man, I hope you guys found this session tonight. You found it very, very useful. I hope that you found that it was very practical and that it was worthwhile. This was an hour well spent. Again, thank you guys who big back in this child here. Big back big back energy. Girl, if you don't sit down somewhere, big back energy. Choking you. But listen, man, I'm hoping that this information was helpful. I'm hoping it was very practical. I'm hoping that, it opened your eyes to a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with that we don't necessarily have to deal with. I hope that you realize that what you have to offer is very important, it's very valuable, and you cannot afford to cast it among people with swine mentalities because they don't care. They don't care. They will use you and abuse you, and as soon as they can't get anything up out of you, they never knew you. Used to be my homie, now you act like you don't know me. You know what I'm saying? That's how the hip hop words. That's how the song go. You got some frenemies for you Essential Discourse Podcast listeners. You got some frenemies. They pose as friends until they can't get what they want out of you. Yeah, so I'm hoping that you enjoyed this episode. I'm hoping that you spread the word about this nightcap. We're here every Saturday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. So that's 8:00 in the East Coast. I don't know what it is in California, so I ain't finna even try to lie to you, but we're here. We're here every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Oh man, I'm looking forward to the day, man. We'll have hundreds of people on this stream, and we can chop it up, man. Really chop it up and really get after it into what the subject matter is at hand. Like I said earlier, I am going to ensure that these topics that you suggested last week, I'm actively searching for folk who will come on and be a guest so that they can speak on the subject matter, on their expertise in regards to the subject matter at hand. Guys, be careful. Be safe. Stay prayed up. Stay vigilant. There's a lot of stuff going on in these divided states of America. There's a lot of stuff going on right here in your neighborhoods. So be careful. School shootings are still happening. Car accidents are still happening because people are not paying attention. People are still evil. People who need mental health care are refusing to take their meds and go and seek treatment. We still have people in uniform, whether that be police or nurses or doctors or whatever. We have people in uniforms who do not need to be in the service industry. And so we got to stay prayed up. You got to stay prayed up and you got to stay vigilant. Be as wise as a serpent, as gentle as a dove. We have got to be. We've got to be on our P's and Q's and cross our T's and dot our I's. We have got to. And amongst everything else, man, find somebody you can really, really talk things out with. Who's trustworthy, who won't put your business out there in the streets. Right? Who won't use it against you, who does not have a swine mentality. Yeah. Find you somebody that you can talk to and you can talk these things out with. And again, as we leave, I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it greatly, tremendously. If you enjoy the content that I provide, you can support the podcast by buying me a coffee. Buy me a coffee. Buy me a Starbucks coffee. Every dollar, every dime, every penny, every nickel, every quarter goes right back into the podcast to make it better. Hey, that's our time, guys. I'm 34, 35 and counting seconds over. I want to thank you guys for being on. I'm hoping that the matters that we talked about tonight will be matters that you talk about tomorrow and into next Saturday. Share this podcast episode with any and everyone whom you think would benefit from hearing this.